15 goals down and over double conceded. Now, we saw Henderson go off as well, Michael, today. 18 different centre-back partners now. So from here on in, we're talking about the top four. With what they've got, this is another blow. How do they find the consistency to put that run of form together?
Well, I think as we see Jordan Henderson there going down, that looks like a groin problem to me. And you know, you're not walking off with a groin injury and coming back, you know, too soon. So he's going to be out for a matter of weeks, I would have thought. I mean, they've got bodies. They've got players that can play centre-half. I think Jurgen Klopp's been reluctant to play them. He's been playing midfield players in at centre-half. He's obviously bought one or two players in as well. You know, it's. I think it's probably time now to play players in their position. So any centre-half that they've got, the two that finished today will probably start the next game. If Fabinho comes back, I think he should put him back into his position and just go with it. You know, what have you got to lose now? There's 9 players.
Well, there's an awful lot to lose because there's an awful lot of money in the top 4 in Champions League football.
But when I say what have you got to lose, what's happening at the moment? If you keep doing what you're doing, so you're going to have to change something. You know, things are going wrong at the minute. So you might as well just think, right, let's just trust that whatever players play at centre-half, let's just trust them now. Let's forget playing Fabinho at centre-half and Henderson when he's fit, things like that. Let's just go with it. It'll mean 9 other positions are filled with players that normally play in those positions. It's only sort of reserve sub-centre-halves that are going to play. Now, if you've got Fabinho and the likes of Henderson playing in front of that, I'd argue that you've got enough protection anyway, even if you've got a couple of academy kids playing. So I think Liverpool's problems aren't just at the back, and I think they've got to find a way now of outscoring teams. They're going to concede goals. Every team will concede goals. But the points difference from last season, 30-something points
33.
And 33 in only 25 games. I mean, what's 1.3 points a game or something, whatever it is, close to that. Less than that. That is staggering. And normally you get teams that don't score as many maybe, but then they'll concede less. They're conceding more and scoring way less. I mean, it's a double whammy at the moment. And as I say, if I was Jurgen Klopp, the basis of this team has always been brilliant attacking play, scoring goals. Let's get back to that. They need to start creating more chances because you're putting pressure on your defence. You're putting pressure on them if you're not scoring enough goals. And this defence doesn't need any more pressure than there already is being put on them.
That's a really interesting point because we talked long and hard, understandably, about the record-breaking 68 Premier League games unbeaten at Anfield. Now they've lost 4 league games in a row at Anfield for only the second time in their history. So from an Everton player's point of view today, going there, has a little bit of that fear gone?
Definitely. Anfield has always been known as a very difficult place to go. Yes, they've had this incredible run, 64 games. But even over the past 10 or 15 seasons, Anfield's not been a place where they lose more than a game or two a season. You know, certainly a couple of draws maybe, but at the moment with the run that Liverpool are on, you're right, it was a great time for Everton to go there to a team that's conceding goals, a team that's losing games, and you know you're confident away from home. You know you've got a game plan away from home, tweaked slightly by Carlo today, which worked very well. But that fear factor isn't there. It's a place you feel like this is a real opportunity to go and make history today.
How do they get that back? At what point do you get seriously concerned that they're out of touch with that top 4 and joking apart all the trimmings and Champions League football that goes with it?
Well, about a month ago, I was starting to think, because it's all right us saying, yeah, they were top of the league around Christmas and things like that. But really, if we're honest, were they playing great? They were still down on all those numbers that we saw. They were not a pale shadow, but they were not as good as last season. Virtually impossible to be as good as last season, or the season before, of course. But you could see signs. There was a couple of big injuries that were happening, but you could still see signs that Liverpool weren't playing the way they were. But it's just quite astonishing, and it just goes to show when people think, oh, it's a runaway leaders, how things can change like that in football. Here we are talking about 60-something games unbeaten at Anfield, breaking all these records, and then all of a sudden, the blink of an eye, we're talking about
4 straight defeats.
4 straight defeats, never been done once in their career, in their history. So all of a sudden, you're getting these. It's almost like they literally have fallen off a cliff. Their performance has been up there for so long, And now it's not just drop, it's like down here. It's staggering how it can happen so quickly. But as quickly as it can go that way, it can go back up.
Well, that was my next question. Can you get it back as quickly, or is it harder to go from there to there?
I think because it's still fresh in the memory, the players will still know that they're a top team. I don't think there will be doubts about, real severe doubts about their ability. They'll just be thinking, we're not quite gelling at the minute, a bit low on confidence, and they'll be skimming the edges of the things why it's going wrong. I don't think it will. Mo Salah still thinks he's one of the best players in the world. Sadio Mane still believes it. The two wing-backs or two full-backs still think they're the best combination in the world of football. I'm sure deep down they all know it's still there. There's going to take something just to spike it off and to get them back to where they were again.
It might just take one moment. It might take one victory where they get it over the line, one goal that went their way. Because I do feel it's harder to get momentum. I feel that, you have to find it from somewhere. You can get a result, but that might not bring the belief. I think something just needs to go Liverpool's way. That might even be getting a player back from injury quicker than you expected. And suddenly he's in the team. Yeah, we're back. We're ready to go again. But, I don't think anybody would have... Even 2 weeks ago when Liverpool started with this poor run, no one would believe there's going to be questions over Liverpool even finishing in the top four, yet here we are. So there's plenty of time. Liverpool are such a good side, as Michael pointed out, that class is forever. So it's still very much within their hands, but they'll want to end this run as quickly as possible.
They certainly will. Big day on Merseyside then. Liverpool.
That's the significance of that going into the latter stage of the game. So it's a very good penalty from him. But you've got to go to Anfield. You've got to now go to Old Trafford. You've got to go to these places and show that you can get results. And it's been such a long time since Everton have been able to do that at Anfield. So it's a good moment for the Blues.
Are they in with a shout of a top four finish, Everton?
Definitely, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you just don't know where Liverpool are going to end up. I mean, if they rediscover some sort of form, Liverpool could finish second. They're better than every other team, apart from Manchester City in the league. But the form suggests, in fact, the form of the last 6-8 games, I wouldn't mind betting it's down near the bottom. I'm sure Fulham's form is a lot better. So who knows, if they continue this, they're going to be dropping further down. But I would expect Liverpool to pick up.
There you go.
Well, there we go.
Look at that. In the last 10.
Look at that.
Sheffield United have more points. Fulham have more points. Palace have more points.
So that answers it, Steve. I mean, if they continue in this vein of form, then it's going to be a mid-table finish, isn't it? But you would expect them to rediscover something. But no, Everton have definitely got a chance. They're in and around it. You're talking about the likes of West Ham up there. Could they get, if they win tomorrow, they go into fourth. It's open to anybody this season. I think the only definite is that Manchester City are going to win the league.